PeterCBrown, Make It Stick, The Science of Successful Learning. Unlock the true potential of your mind with the essence of Make It Stick, The Science of Successful Learning, by PeterCBrown. Dive into the world of learning strategies backed by research in behavioral science, psychology, and neuroscience. Discover how conventional methods like rereading, cramming, and massed practice are not the most effective. Instead, explore alternative approaches such as spaced repetition, interleaving, and generative learning. This book summary will equip you with the tools to enhance memory retention, stimulate curiosity, and incorporate varied practice for optimal results.
Rethinking Intelligence. The traditional belief that intelligence is innate and unchangeable has been debunked by recent research in behavioral science, psychology, and neuroscience. Learning can occur in many ways, but teachers and instructors often fail to utilize peer-reviewed research findings or adjust their methods accordingly. Outmoded practices like rereading, repeating specific elements, and cramming are ineffective. It's time to rethink our approach to learning and education. Effective learning strategies. Traditional studying techniques such as cramming and massed practice are not productive. Instead of relying on one or two high-stakes exams, frequent low-stakes quizzes and tests throughout the semester can lead to better long-term learning outcomes. Teachers at Columbia Middle School and Professor Andrew Sobel at Washington University have implemented this strategy with success. Frequent quizzes and spaced repetition help reinforce connections formed through learning, leading to improved memory retention and retrieval. Additionally, students appreciate the fast feedback and opportunities for targeted studying, without the anxiety of one poor quiz performance jeopardizing their overall grade. By prioritizing frequent testing and spaced repetition, educators can set their students up for success. Optimizing learning strategies. Effective learning requires breaking away from traditional mass practice methods and adopting active learning strategies such as interleaving and generative learning. Studies show that spacing out retrieval practice combined with feedback and trial and error leads to better results than repeatedly focusing on a single skill. Making mistakes and correcting them during varied practice produces long-lasting skills and retention. Learning is not just about acquiring knowledge but incorporating it to achieve lasting results. Persistently repeating one skill in a session and mastering it does not guarantee effective learning. Rather, it is necessary to adopt an approach that challenges learners and builds bridges to advanced learning. Studies demonstrate that instructors who facilitate varied practice through interleaving and generative learning, coupled with spaced repetition, feedback and trial and error, incite active learning and retention of skills. Interleaving involves teaching different parts of a skill at once instead of sequentially or exclusively focusing on one aspect at a time. This not only sparks curiosity but also aids long-term retention and recall of information. Generative learning, which involves trying to answer questions or solve problems before receiving instruction, encourages deep thinking and understanding, leading to the encoding and embedding of learning. The traditional mass practice approach of teaching a skill, such as a particular movement or operation, repeatedly until mastery, is becoming increasingly ineffective. Instead, the interleaving method, which involves mixing skill sets and introducing variety, stimulates active learning and better retention. Mistakes and trial and error are necessary components of the learning process, as they build skills by engaging a distributed network of the brain and promoting active learning. Effective learning involves consistent feedback and encouragement that promote active learning over passive learning. Providing corrective feedback while encouraging varied practice through trial and error leads to better skills development and retention. Breaking away from the conventional mass practice approach to learning and embracing these innovative techniques will lead to optimal learning outcomes. Effective learning methods. Practice like you play. The key to effective learning is not just what you know but how you practice. Practice is a fundamental aspect of mastering any skill or knowledge area, but it's essential to make sure that the practice is more like real-life situations than rote repetitions. The example of a hockey coach proves this point. When the coach trained his players using different types of passes from various parts of the ice, the players were better prepared for the unpredictability of the game, and the team went on to become world champions. The same principle applies to studying or practicing other skills such as bird identification or legal jurisprudence. Studying should reflect reality, and students must practice different types of problems in the same session to improve their ability to discern nuances and discriminate between specific types. Repeating the same experiential practices around specific skills and revisiting the mastered skills occasionally to maintain memory can help one achieve excellence. This method is particularly effective for jobs that might cost or save lives, such as flying jets or performing surgeries. In conclusion, effective learning requires the right kind of practice, practice like you play. Unlocking the power of memory. Our ability to learn goes beyond just having to remember. Effortful retrieval strengthens the neuronal roots and adds depth to learning. The more we learn, the more connections we can create, allowing us to build a mental model that enables us to respond fast and expertly to a trigger. This is why it is beneficial to design learning that is reasonably difficult and challenging. Mnemonic techniques such as memory palaces, spaced-out practice, and memorable phrases or images help to reinforce learning. Rewritten text. Our brain encodes memories, but they need to be consolidated into long-term memory for future recall. Effortful retrieval during memory recall can deepen the learning experience in many ways. One of which is the use of spaced-out practice that reinforces the neuronal roots. With reconsolidation, learning is further enhanced, culminating in a mental model that permits fast and expert responses. The more we learn, the greater the possible connections we create to facilitate further learning. Therefore, it is better to create learning scenarios that are reasonably difficult and challenging. Mnemonic techniques are useful for retaining multiple items. Memorable phrases or images such as memory palaces can be employed to help with recall. For instance, connecting new concepts to familiar places, like a bedroom, creates a vivid mental image that deepens learning. By employing the above techniques to learn new things, anyone can unlock the power of their memory and build a mental model that facilitates fast and problem-free recall. Mastering the art of learning. Deliberate, conscious, and slow thinking is crucial for solving problems and making unfamiliar decisions. In his book Thinking, Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman highlights the importance of System 2 thinking in creating mental models that lead to mastery of complex routines. However, learners tend to delude themselves into thinking they understand a concept deeply until they have rewritten it in their own words, applied it to past knowledge, and used it in practical applications. To build lasting competence, engage in frequent, spaced testing and retrieval, and use dynamic testing to tailor subsequent lessons to the learner's knowledge gaps. Rethinking learning preferences. Matching teaching styles with learning preferences may not be as effective as changing instructional strategies to suit the learner's needs. Researchers suggest that educators should focus on engagement and building mental models to enhance learning. Learners who develop frameworks can apply their knowledge to other areas, while those who memorize struggle to do so. Believe to achieve. To succeed in learning, one must possess the mindset of, I can learn anything. Praising a child's effort instead of intelligence can help cultivate this attitude. Our brains have immense potential, and hours of practice can trump natural talent.
In conclusion, Make It Stick challenges traditional learning techniques and offers well-researched alternatives that have a greater impact on memory retention and skill acquisition. By incorporating spaced repetition, interleaving topics, and generative learning, learners can revolutionize how they absorb and apply information. Emphasizing effortful practice and employing mnemonics are additional strategies that can lead to mastery and expand mental models. Understanding the role of conscious and subconscious thinking also plays a key role in effective learning. Ultimately, the right mindset, resilient belief in one's abilities, and a dynamic approach to teaching and learning can unleash the limitless potential of the human brain.